Revolutionary greetings. This is Haki Kweli Shakur coming back at you again at another sacred historical spot. I'm out here at the Bermuda Hundred. The Bermuda Hundred near Hopewell, Petersburg, Richmond, Charles City, and it's just off the banks of the James River and where the Appomattox rivers meet. Take a look. Being that this is the year of 400, 1619, 2019, 400 years since our first ancestors, political prisoners, prisoners of war, was brought to these shores of Virginia. We know about Point Comfort, Hampton, Virginia, and Jamestown. That's the first landing for that area. But we're on the south side. This is another piece of the south side slavery history. This is where the first spot of those other ancestors were first brought to. This is the first landing spot. It's called the Bermuda Landing. So many ancestors were brought to this spot that we don't even have a calculation on the numbers. But this is the first spot before the historical slave trade of Africans being brought from Comfort, Hampton, Virginia to Richmond, Virginia. They were brought to this spot first, then took into Richmond, Virginia. This is also the historical spot of the Civil War. This is where like most of the Civil War took place at off of these banks of the James River and Appomattox River. I just wanted to come out to this spot because nobody is talking about this spot. This is a sacred space. It was an article that was put out in the Chesterfield Observer about this spot, but before that article came out, wasn't nobody really talking about this spot. It's like it's very hidden off the banks of the Appomattox and the James River. Also, let me just say this for the record. As you can see, this spot is wilderness. So I just want to give y'all something to think about before I shut this video down. Think about going back to the times of the early 1600s, 1500s, 1400s. All this was wilderness, woods, water, and everything of this nature. So when those ancestors got here, they literally had to dig up this land, chop down all these trees. I'm talking about extreme labor to build these houses and these plantation houses and these mansions for these wealthy, rich Europeans who had captured these great ancestors and brought them to this land of Virginia. Think about the strenuous work that our mothers had to go through, these fathers had to go through, and these kids from the ages of 7 years old, they started putting these kids on these plantations and digging up these grounds and knocking these trees down at the age of 7. So think about that. And mostly of those enslaved Africans were kids. They were teenagers. So think about all the strenuous work that had to take place on all these plantations in the antebellum South that these ancestors went through. So when people complain about reparations, it shouldn't be no complaint about reparations. That was horrible, strenuous labor, which built these wealthy, rich Europeans' wealth and the economy of the United States of America and the Confederate States of America. So think about all this slave labor that they had to do and never got paid for it. They built all this you see, all this landmass you see, this is what your ancestors did. They cleared all this out, man. You see what I'm saying? So we shouldn't be arguing about do we deserve reparations? Do the descendants of these Africans deserve reparations? Yes, we do. And before I close this video off, speaking on the reparations topic, I just want to state this for the record, because you know you got the Wild ADOS movement out here, which is a pseudo movement, you know, building their struggle and quest for reparations on, how can I put it, a non-national title. They call themselves the American descendants of slaves. We're not American descendants of slaves. No, these human beings that were brought to the shores were from nations, tribes of people. So we're descendants of different tribes and nations of people. We are new African people. We are a new African nation of people. So in order, like the great Baba, Malcolm X stated, in order for us to get reparations, we have to come together as a national body, a nation of people. This is how you get reparations. This is how the indigenous nations got reparations. This is how the Japanese, the Jewish, this is how all these people got reparations. So when I'm making these points clear to y'all, when I'm arguing against ADOS, not really arguing, but just critical analyzing their movement, you have to understand We have people that have died, freedom fighters that's locked up doing 40 and 50 years right now for a national struggle, to be recognized as a national people. We are a nation. This is the only way we're gonna be able to obtain reparations. And 400 years has been long enough. Remember the 400. Go to the Remember the 400 website. All the information is there. And come out to the Remember the 400 in Black August. I do believe it's between the 24th and the 26th in Hampton, Virginia. Point Comfort, Virginia, where those first 20 Africans was brought to that area. So I'm gonna shut this video off on that note, man. And understand, we are a nation of people, a new African nation of people. So in order to get reparations, we must go to the United Nations and we must sue the United States of America as a nation for reparations for our ancestors who were brought here as captured political prisoners, prisoners of war. So I'm gonna sign off on that note. Haki Kweli Shakur, free the land. Look at that background.